Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff, and today we're talking Civivi. We're talking two Civivi knives. Two Civivi knives by the same designer. This is the Civivi McKenna and this is the Civivi Lazar, both designed by Elijah Isham. This is an older Civivi. This is a kind of new one. I mean, I'm not sure when you guys will see this video, but by the time you do, Civivi will have probably already released 24 more knives on the market, but, you know, whatever. So the McKenna is actually being discontinued, and I think that's a huge shame. It really is. And I guess this is its replacement. So I was going to do kind of like an edge-to-edge between these two, but you know what? We're just going to do more of an overview, an appreciation of Elijah Isham's work, since this has been stated that it is a sequel to the McKenna. So, the McKenna, what are we looking at here? It's a front flipper with a nice little Wharncliffe blade. The McKenna is a very small knife. In fact, this was actually the very first Civivi I ever got, and it was actually this exact McKenna right here. And I was surprised at how small it was, but it's pretty comfortable in the hand. This is one of the few Civivi knives that has a smaller grip where their clip doesn't bother me. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. This little area back here can sometimes be a little bit pointy in your palm, but other than that, it's really, really good ergonomically for what it is. There is Isham's maker's mark. Really, really cool. Love his maker's mark. It's very, very odd. And let me wipe this blade off because it's fingerprinty. It has lots of smudges on the sand finish. Anyways, this is D2. They made a bunch of different versions of this knife, including, of course, their regular carbon fiber Damascus type of fancier versions, as well as some brass and 154 cm versions, which, now that this knife is discontinued, I might want to go and grab some of those. But, yeah, just a really cool knife. Really like this knife. Love the full back spacer. Just adds a little something. I love full back spacers. It's a very, very easy knife to front flip. This was my first front flipper as well. Oops, my computer's dinging. That's okay. Let's see if I can do this left-handed. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, very, very Isham-y. If you're familiar with his work, very, very him, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. Good, useful little blade for smaller stuff. It's a cool knife. I do like it quite a bit. Good action on it. Civivi does good front flipping action, if we're being honest. So, yeah. The G10 also has a really interesting pattern on it. Now, again, I'm not the biggest fan of Civivi's G10, but this is kind of interesting. They've got like this stippling here, and kind of more flat G10 there. It's really, it's kind of eye-catching, and it's just a neat little detail. And you'll see that they did the same thing on the Lazar. Love this purple, by the way. This is really, really cool. Yeah, that just looks a little bit nice. One thing I wish they'd done on the Lazar was a full back spacer, but since they didn't, there's only 2 screws on this knife. The pivot and then 1 body screw. I guess 3 if you count the other pocket clip screw, but yeah. Also a front flipper, trailing point blade instead of a Wharncliffe. I've been carrying this guy, using him quite a bit. The way this handle is shaped, you know, trailing points aren't typically my thing, but the way this handle is shaped, I don't know, it just really works well with this blade. I mean, you're not going to be doing utility cuts or anything, but I don't know, it helps this trailing point blade to feel more like a drop point, if that makes sense. But again, a very Isham-y design. Good looking knife. This one is in 10CR 15 CO MOV steel, whatever. So basically VG10. Again, love the purple. There's a few versions of this knife out as well. I've noticed Civivi's kind of backing off on making as many different versions of a knife as they used to. Flat grind, very thin. They have this They have this coating on here that I don't really like. Civivi, or this blade finish, maybe not coating. Civivi calls this a stone wash, but I don't think it's a stone wash. It's more like a bead blast or an acid wash, or if it is a stone wash, it's very, very weak because it collects usage marks like crazy, and then they stand out a lot. Which with a stone wash, one of the things I like so much about stone washes is if they're heavy enough, they hide marks pretty well. But yeah, the clip on this one is obnoxious to me. In my hand, it's just huge hot spot. No lanyard hole in either of these. Don't really think they need them. Access to the liner is a little bit odd in both of these. They don't give you too much access, but it's actually better on the McKenna, which is interesting because the McKenna is... Oh, that was cool. The McKenna is quite a bit smaller. You can see that. In fact, let's bring out... Where did I put my ruler? Ah, there it is. I lose my ruler more than just about anything else. So we're looking at just a smidge over 3 inches for the McKenna. Just a smidge. And then on the Lazar, we're looking at 3.5, pretty much even. Plus a little bit more cutting edge with that big belly swoop. Have a little bit of a choke up place here. McKenna, you kind of did, but it's more like a pinch place. Something about the Lazar that's interesting is one of the things that you can immediately see that kind of connects these as being in the same family of knives is this hole here on the McKenna and the Lazar. Now, it looks like it's bigger on the McKenna, honestly, but I think it's just more covered in the Lazar. Interestingly enough, though, you cannot do this with McKenna, but with the Lazar, I've discovered that I can actually middle finger flick it off that hole. I can also use a hole here. Whoops, my bad. Ah, there we go. To thumb flick it. It's a little bit hard under a camera, but yeah, you can thumb flick it. I've also discovered that, you see, the tang, with the lock face here on the knife, if you get it just right with your fingernail, and I mean just right, because you can totally touch it, whoops, and you move your finger out of the way enough so it doesn't get hit by the front flipper, which I'm going to struggle to do under the camera. You can flip the knife. It's not supposed to do any of those things. It's not. The hole is just Isham's design. Like I said, you cannot do it with the McKenna, really. You know what? Maybe I can, actually. Okay, I take that back. I can. It's not as easy as with the Lazar, but you can do it. I doubt you can do the thumb flick. You know what? I'm going to try off screen. No, it's a little bit too... This area is a little bit too pointy right in there, and the whole thing's a little bit more rounded over. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit sharper here on the Lazar. As for the... You know what? I bet you could actually do this thing, too. Wait. Come on. The deten's a little bit stronger on this, on the McKenna. Okay. I mean, it's super tiny. Probably won't be able to do it. My finger probably too big, but... Anyways, it's not supposed to do that, so we're not going to spend too much time on that. But anyways, here's these two knives that are kind of in the same family. And they're both really good knives. If you look at my unboxing I did of this knife, Austin helped me with that. He liked the Lazar a lot. In fact, if I remember right, he even said this was his favorite of all the Civivis we unboxed that day. And you know what? I've really been fidgeting with the Lazar a lot. I haven't been using them that much because even though the shape of the handle does put the blade at a little more of a good angle, it's still a trailing point, great for slicing, but you know, not a whole lot else in my opinion. Ergos, I would say you definitely do get a better grip on the Lazar, even though the clip is annoying. Definitely needs a new clip. New clip. But you do have much fuller grip than you do on the McKenna. I can still get a 4-finger grip on the McKenna, barely, but much more of a solid grip here, much more sturdy, I guess. But yeah, I'm really sad to see the McKenna go. I really am. Is the Lazar a suitable replacement? I don't think so. The McKenna, I do think, is just a little bit better, and I would actually love to see, if Civivi has to discontinue this, please Civivi, don't discontinue this, but if they have to, maybe they should bring us like a McKenna XL. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I just kind of wanted to show off these two knives, just kind of compare them a little bit. Not really, but, you know, just kind of show them compared to each other. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.